All right, we are recording. This is our second video, narrative telephone. The story is called Why Dogs Sniff Each Other's Butts or Why Dogs Cannot Talk. The story comes from Plains Indians, kind of North American, New World, Apache type cultures. And this story is pretty old. It's older than the introduction of the horse to the New World. It's from a time before the white man. And here it goes. So, back in the day, dogs could talk. And of course, dogs were among the most important animals in the lives of the Plains Indians. They used them for hunting and protection and all kinds of things. And our story follows a young hunter, a young Indian man, and his dog. Now, one night, this young guy was sleeping, and he woke up, and his dog was not there in his tent where it should be, keeping watch, doing its dog thing. And so he went looking for the dog, and he noticed that there were no dogs anywhere in the entire village. There were tons of dogs, usually. Everybody had dogs, but there were no dogs. So he had to go looking for the dogs, and he went out into the woods, and he heard them. They could talk, remember. He heard them talking, all the dogs, and they were having a big dog meeting out in the woods in the middle of the night, or the plains, or whatever. And, oh, wait, there is one thing. I forgot. Right before we tell the story, we're supposed to take a hit off this bowl. So we're looking for the dogs. We're going to take a hit off the bowl. And he found the dogs, and they were talking to each other. They were gossiping. Each dog was gossiping about its owner. My owner only gives me scraps. He eats all the best meat himself. Oh, well, my owner, he does this, he does that. And this guy heard his own dog talking in the circle, in the dog gossip circle, and he was pissed. He was just like, fuck, this little guy doesn't fucking respect what I do. He was ready to go fuck up some dogs, but as he's about to go do that, the Great Spirit taps him on the shoulder. He's like, buddy, hang on a second. This will be hilarious. Just come back to camp. These dogs will be out here again tomorrow night. We'll get them that time. Don't worry about it. So he goes back to camp. Him and the Great Spirit. And he goes to sleep, wakes up the next day. All the dogs are back in camp, like nothing happened. And the next night, this guy pretends to go to sleep, waits. His dog fucks off. And in the middle of the night, when he knows all the dogs are gone, he goes back out into the woods. And he finds all the dogs again. And these dogs, they have hunted a deer, and they're not, by themselves. They're not sharing the deer with the tribe or anything like that. They're just mowing down and talking shit. And the guy's out there, and he's still pissed, and the Great Spirit pops in. He's like, all right, check this out. Watch this. All the dogs eat of the deer, and they fall asleep, full of venison. And they're napping it off. And the Great Spirit walks into the dog camp, walks into the circle of dogs sleeping on the ground, and he starts tapping them right around the head and the neck. And as he does, there's like a glowing emanation from their throat. And at the same time, he's plucking off their tails, and he's hanging them from trees. So after a few minutes of this, all the dogs have no tails, and all their tails are hanging from trees. And the hunter is like, all right, I guess that's it. And the Great Spirit says, totally, let's go back to camp, and this whole thing will solve itself. It'll be hilarious. And so they go back to camp, and it's about to be morning. The dogs start to wake up, and they realize, oh, sun's coming up. The people are going to expect us to be back in camp. We got to get going. And they realize they don't have any fucking tails. And one of the dogs goes to say to his other dogs, hey, what the fuck is up with that? And all he can do is bark. So he starts barking like crazy. He can't say anything except barking. And he's barking and barking and barking, and all the dogs wake up, and they notice they have no tails, but they have to get back to camp before anybody notices they were gone. So they just start grabbing tails off trees and sticking them to their butts. And they get back into camp, And from that day forward, dogs could not talk, they could only bark, and dogs have to sniff each other's butts because they're, to this day, still looking for their original tails, which in haste they could not grab from the trees, but might have been taken by some other dog. That's the story of why dogs can't talk and why dogs sniff each other's butts. Thanks.